Martyrus and Anba. Before we start the contribution of Anba Martyrus, Dr. Fawzi Stefanos would like to have an announcement. Important announcement.
Very.
The bus group, the people are going to Cairo. You have two choices. Arrive to Cairo at 2 or 3 o'clock without visiting Mawid, or we visit Mawid and arrive to Cairo a little couple of hours later.
Visit Mawid.
Who is for visiting Mawid?
Okay.
Who is not? Okay, thank you.
hands.
Who is not for visiting Mawid? Dr. Gautam, you take that seat.
We are happy and we are glad that we will have the opportunity to visit the site, and the director of the excavation will be with us here, and we will enjoy seeing important excavations at Fayoum. I hope that the official permissions and facilities will be done before tomorrow. So I am very honored to introduce His Grace Bishop Martyrus. He will speak about Anba Isaac, Bishop of Fayoum and Bahnasa in the 19th century, 1834 to 1881.
ما هو هيوصله.
about Anba Isaac, Bishop of Fayoum, Bahnasa and Jesus, 1834-1881. Anba Isaac, the main subject of this research, holds a unique place in the history of the Coptic Church during the 17th century, 19th century. This standing is part is due to massive crises which included 3 Egyptian governors, namely Jesus, Fayoum, and Swift, and part of Armenia. It is also a recognition to what he achieved in both ecclesiastical life and the monastic life in Martyrus during his time as a bishop of diocese, which lasted for almost 47 years. Anba Isaac was among 16 monks living in the monastery for the Holy Virgin Ursula during that time in the early 19th century. It is known about him that he was greatly loved by his brethren monks. When the diocese of Fayoum and Bahnasa and Jesus lost its bishop due to the death of Anba Isaac, who had shepherded his diocese from 1820 1833 AD, the monks of the monastery of the Holy Virgin Ursula in Martyrus asked Pope Petrus the seventh of Alexandria, Boutros el-Ghali, who used to choose his bishops from among the monks of the monastery of St. Anthony in the Red Sea, to ordain their brother monk Isaac as bishop for the vacant diocese of Patriarch agreed. And the consecration took place in the Holy Cathedral residence in the Cathedral of St. Mark in Isbakia, Cairo, which was built by the famous Archon Ibrahim al-Bahri. At an unknown date, after 1858, Anba Isaac was ordained a metropolitan. He lived until 1881 AD. Unfortunately, it is unknown exactly when he died or where he was buried. The geographical borders of the Diocese of Anba. The Diocese of Anba included three intergovernorates, namely El Fayoum, El Bahnasa, Bani Suif, and Giza, and a part of Armenia, governorate as far as the town Bani Mazar. This means he was considered the bishop of the middle province of Egypt. First, Anba Isaac's achievement is as a bishop. In Bani Suif, in 1856, built the first church in an area called the Dar el-Ab, which had the name of the Holy Virgin. And in 1869, he built a church named for St. George in the area called Abu Sir al-Marab in the town of El-Wasta. A third church, also holding the name of the Holy Virgin, was built by Anba Isaac in the town called the Fashion in 1861. Two, in El Fayoum, he restored a number of the churches and monasteries, among which were the Church of the Holy Virgin, the Monastery of El Amir Tabros, in an area called Asia, and the Church of Abu Sifir. Number three, in Giza, in 1862, he built a church in the name of the Holy Virgin, the village of Atris, which this church belonged to and still belongs to the monastery of the Holy Virgin, in Martyrus. In 1872, he built a church in the same village in the name of St. Martyrus, and it still belongs to the monks of the monastery of St. Martyrus in Martyrus. He built these churches for caring for the estates he bought for the two monasteries, as he was the caretaker of the monasteries for Martyrus. In 1881, Anba Isaac started the construction of St. Mark Church in Giza. 4. Anba Isaac ordained several priests in the 4 governorates. 5. He participated in the recommendation made for Fayoum or chief priest Dawood of the monastery of St. Anthony to be ordained as a general metropolitan in 1853, and later he participated in consecration Anba Dawood as patriarch under the name Pope Kirill IV in 1854. Years later, Anba Isaac also participated in the recommendation for the monk Mikhail of the monastery of St. Martyrus in Martyrus to be consecrated as a patriarch, taking the name Pope Demetrius II in 1862. 6. Anba Isaac played a great role in the monk Johanna, the scribe, being enthroned as a patriarch of the see of St. Mark under the name Kirill V in 1874. Second, Anba Isaac's achievement is in the monasteries for Martyrus. Anba Isaac took great care of the 4 monasteries for Martyrus, especially Ursuline monastery, to the extent that he used to spend half the year in the caring for the diocese, and the other half in the monasteries of Martyrus, as soon as he took over the diocese. He ordained so many priests and monks that he was called the chief of the monasteries of Martyrus, and the caretaker of the monastery of the Holy Virgin Monastery. It is noteworthy that preserved in this monastery vestment of his decorated with silver wire embroidered with depictions of the 12 disciples, Melchizedek and Aaron the priest, on each written the lover of his reverend father Anba Isaac, bishop of Bahnasa and El Fayoum, in the monastery of the Holy Virgin Ursuline, 1555 PM, 1245 AH, 1839 AD. Anba's achievements can be summarized as follows. He restores the Church of the Holy Virgin Mary in Syrian Monastery in modern Natrun. This unique church was consecrated on the 23rd of April 1853 AD. This was mentioned in the manuscript of the four Gospels given by him as a gift to the monastery. Number 2, Amisa, together with his sister Hanuna, presented to the monastery of the Holy Virgin in Monastery a manuscript of the Holy Bible, the four Gospels in both Coptic and Arabic, dated to the year 1852. 1569 AM. It was transcribed by the monk called Shinoda from the Syrian Monastery. It is stamped by the bishop's Roman seal, Isaac the Bishop 58. He bought his manuscript for 350 Roman piasters. He also presented to the same monastery another manuscript of the consecration of the churches in both Coptic and Arabic in 1834 AD, 1550 AM. He inscribed it in his manuscript the third person is Archbishop of Fayoum, Bahnasa in the name. In the name of God, the merciful and compassionate, and glory to be God in highest heaven, a perpetual and everlasting endowment to the Church of the Holy Virgin in Syrian in the wildernesses of St. Martyrus, 1550 AM. He signed on it in Wigan Coptic. The third person is Ahab, the bishop. This manuscript is kept now in Patriarchal Library in Abbasiyya in Cairo. Number 3. He always combined the patriarchs in their visits to the monasteries of Holy Natrun. This was mentioned in the manuscript during describing the visit of the Coptic Patriarch Pope Peter the 7th in 1835. It was mentioned in the manuscript that Pope Peter the 7th was accompanied by the Reverend Bishop of Bahnasa and Fayoum and the caretaker of the monastery of the Holy Virgin Syrian. He played a great increasing the number of monks for the monasteries of Holy Natrun, whose number amounted to 399 monks in 1890. The number of monks had been only around 70 in 1833. The influence of different variables in the 19th century on the Diocese of Anba. No doubt that the Diocese of Anba was affected by the open door policy followed by Muhammad Ali in Egypt in the 19th century. For example, 1. The spread of the foreign missionaries in Egypt, especially the Catholic ones which came from Rome, and the Protestant ones which came from England. These missionaries spread their faith among the Orthodox Egyptians. 2. The Coptic archons, who were the rich and high-level government officials, played a great role in the mediation between the church and the rulers. Number 3. The remarkable role played by the Coptic patriarchs of the 19th century in confirming the Orthodox faith among the Egyptians. One example of this pope was Pope Peter the 7th, 1852. This patriarch was keen on sending pastoral letters to the different dioceses for the sake of confirming the Orthodox doctrine. Second example was Pope Kirill, 1854-1861, who built a printing for publishing the books of the teachings of the Orthodox Church. He also established Coptic schools. Third example was Martyrus II, 1862-1870, who intensified his pastoral visits to congregation, especially in Upper Egypt, for the sake of confirmation their faith. Fourth, Anba strays from the church teachings on the subject of divorce. For reasons unclear to us in the present day, Anba went against the church teachings and allowed divorce, and permitted these who get the divorce for trivial reasons, both men and women, to remarry. This permitted Pope Demetrius II to send a letter to the people and the priestess of the diocese, warning against and objecting to this matter. It seems that the issue of divorce was trying to appear, but the popes of the church were keen on restricting it to the circumstances mentioned in the Bible, meaning divorce was allowed in case of adultery only. It seems that pressure was being put on the bishops by rich people and the nobles to lenient in this concern. Some of these bishops were affected to his pressure, and it seems Anba was among them. Consequently, in 17 Abib 1580 AM 1864, Pope Demetrius II sent this letter to the people and the priestess of the diocese, gently blaming Anba and excommunicating a priest called Howard. Pope Demetrius II said in his letter, "We inform you that we received news from many people and objections from some of our Christian Orthodox sons around the diocese. From this news and these objections, we know that our brother Bishop Isaac is acting against the church religion, such as breaking the ecclesiastical law by allowing some women to get the divorce from their husband and then giving them documents permitting them to get married again. We find it most to send you this letter asking you not to accept any of these documents from anyone, but instead try to reconcile the husbands and wives who want to get the divorce. As for Priest Howard, who writes these documents with his own hand, we have stripped him of priesthood and we ask you not to deal with him." In conclusion, we have briefly studied the life of the very influential bishop of the Coptic Church during the 19th century, who not only greatly influenced the resonance of the Coptic Church by his interest in building churches and repairing monasteries and increasing the numbers of monks and priests in his diocese, but even by influencing the enthronement of last three patriarchs, at least three patriarchs. In the circle of social changes and challenges in Egypt during his time as bishop, it seems Anba's judgment strained from the dogma of the church concerning the subject of divorce seems he continued to hold his high position, perhaps in deference to all his previous achievements for the Church. It is strange indeed that such an influential figure as Anba, who was bishop, then metropolitan, for almost 50 years, when he died, the exact date of his death was seemingly lost to the history, and so was the location of his grave. Still, we honor him for the many positive effects he had on the Coptic Church during the 19th century, and hope that someday more of his history emerges. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Bishop Martyrus, for this wonderful lecture. You have any question, please? Any question? Yes, please.
Concerning the separation or the divorce, you think that it was more facilities than certain period, the facilities that had been given in that period?
In this period, there are some archons, people whose rituals were make a pressure of the bishops to make a divorce between man and woman, so that some bishops was affected with this pressure to make this matter which against the Latin Church.
Yes, it means that it was not in the strict way.
Yes, maybe there are
Yes.
okay, there are problems between any two wives, but these problems usually could be increasing, so that many of husbands ask to make a divorce for their wives, but they have to
Yes.
they have to follow the commandments of Jesus Christ and His Gospel.
So, very
Thank you.
important lecture. In fact, of that period, we know, for example, Ibrahim al-Gawari, Gergis al-Gawari, but people, great people like Bishop, that is not known at all. I heard about him for the first time, I have to admit. And he is not mentioned in the Coptic encyclopedia. So we hope that to know more about the Copts, not only tell the Fatimid period or whatever. We need more important. Thank you very much, Bishop. Next speaker, Dr.